We turn to the bloody massacre at a music festival in Mexico.
One Canadian is confirmed among the dead. He was a popular fixture in Toronto's nightclub scene. CTV's Austin Delaney joins us in the studio with the latest on this, Austin.
A Hamilton man, thank you. He would be hired as a bodyguard to VIPs like Jake or the basketball players during the NBA All-Star game in Toronto. And those in the city's nightclub scene will recognize Kirk Wilson immediately. He was one of 3 security personnel killed in the club shooting. He's got a gun, a man screams as chaos erupted outside a nightclub in the Mexican resort town of Playa del Carmen. Inside the Blue Parrot Club, patrons dove for cover. The phone video shows people running for their lives when one lone shooter opened fire.
It sounds like a fireworks. When I moved over my head, I saw one of the persons fighting with the guy with the gun, and then this guy started shooting everywhere. Like I just can see the fire from the gun. This moment is when the people started running away from the place. It was just crazy.
Among the dead, Kirk Wilson of Stony Creek, who had gone down to run security for the BPM Electronic Music Festival, started by 2 Canadians.
Just great in so many ways, just a nice guy overall, you know.
A married father of 2, Wilson was a familiar face in the Toronto nightclub scene.
If there was a fight, if there was an issue, Kirk's the kind of guy that would get right in front of the aggressor and put an end to it. You know, that's the kind of guy he was, and that's what made him so great.
He was a legend here in the industry and provided a really good time for a lot of people, not only with the nightclub industry, but also pretty much for most of the events that have come to Toronto for the last 20 years.
But early this morning, Wilson got in front of a bullet in the crowded club when suddenly panic set in. A gunman burst through the entrance, exchanging gunfire with another man as patrons tried to flee.
People were actually laying down on the ground, screaming, yelling, and I laid down on the ground for like maybe not even a minute. I think it was everything happened so quick. I think it was like for only a couple seconds.
A man can be heard yelling for someone to call for a doctor. A woman pleading for help. Another man wondering why the ambulances have not arrived. And this distraught man, wearing a Toronto t-shirt, is identified by friends as Charles Lewis of Toronto. A tweet from Maddie Samaras of Toronto inside the club. I was less than 5 feet from the first 2 people getting shot and don't know how I'm alive after everyone around me died or got shot. Thank you to Charles Lewis for helping me get to safety. BPM issued this statement in part saying, the violence began on 12th Street in front of the club, and 3 members of the BPM security team were among those whose lives were lost while trying to protect patrons inside the venue. Global Affairs Canada is attempting to verify whether there was a second Canadian killed in the club. At least 2 other Canadians are reported to have been among the more than a dozen wounded. The gunman escaped while 3 people have been detained for questioning. I'm Austin Delaney.